I believe that AOC and people like Jasmine Crockett are trying to become the party power brokers because there's a total vacuum in the party. There is no leadership. None. Hakeem Jeffries is weak and ineffective. This is not Nancy Pelosi's Democrat Party anymore. She would never have allowed these lunatics to be running the asylum. She always had a way of reining them in, but she's gone. For instance, Jasmine Crockett out there on Jimmy Kimmel. 1662. Take a listen to her this week.
Incompetence is almost like incomprehensible. It is so bad. And when you bring up the idiot known as Elon Musk, is not only like very sinister and has no idea what he's doing, and people are like, oh no, he absolutely knows because he's the richest man in the world. Like, yes, he knows how to hire smart people, but don't conflate that and believe that he is the genius, because he ain't.
He ain't a genius. Okay, look, this is their face now. She wants to be the power center. She and AOC are vying right now for the mic time, for the spotlight. People like Jimmy Kimmel are all too happy to feed it. They are of the belief that they need to swear more and become more aggressive and more full tilt loon. The more aggressive they get, they live in this world where they get $5 and $10 donations from people on the left, and they think they're doing the Lord's work. They're encouraged by the likes of Kimmel because people like Kimmel and left-wing activist types, or people that fund left-wing activist types, they don't care. They just want to see action. They just want to see somebody looking like they're fighting. They don't care that the public doesn't want it. They don't care that the public sees that the government is at odds with the people of this country. The left doesn't. The hard left wants more government. They want bigger, more intrusive government. That's always what they've stood for. Big, corrupt, bloated, bureaucratic, authoritarian government. And Trump is trying at this hour to do exactly the opposite. Scale it down, roll back the regulations, give you back more of your income, empower the consumer, empower the taxpayer, build a business base back here. The left likes the idea of the very, very tippy top to be in total control of everything, and the rest of us live under shot mandates or threat of losing our jobs. And there is no leadership anymore, so Jasmine Crockett thinks, well, maybe I'll get out there and grab it. AOC thinks, well, maybe I'll get out and grab it. Because if the money's coming into them, or if the money is coming into the likes of little David Hogg, who's now vice chair of the party, their little cherub from Parkland. How in the world he got that position, I'll never know. The old dogs like James Carville are saying, and while James Carville's a nut, I mean, he's still saying, this little pipsqueak is now running our party? You can't do that. AOC and Jasmine Crockett and David Hogg are not the majority of this country, but they are the most vocal. They are the most, if you want, sexy to the activist left. They are the ones that are hoovering up the cash right now. There is no elder statesperson like Nancy Pelosi to keep it all in line, you see. And so I had this stack of stories. This has been the storyline. This has been the story arc for a while now. Generational change could be coming fast for Senate Democrats. Many senators are hailing the modest shift that's already underway that has empowered an influx of opinionated, media-savvy freshmen and elevated some of the caucus's younger members into the lower rungs of the leadership ladder. Okay, so that was first written at Politico back on the 15th of April. By the 19th of April, the story is David Hogg was out there trashing democracy entirely. Democracy brought us school shootings, he says. He wants to do something about democracy. How's that for a message? The Democrat Party wants to do... That's why I call them Democrat, not Democratic. There is nothing democratic about the Democrat Party. And now their vice chair is saying it. They don't like democracy. They want rid of it. So at first, their loving embrace of Hogg, the little cherub, they thought they were going to put Boss Hogg in play. By the way, that's mine. Copyright, trade that. Boss Hogg, that's mine. Dukes of Hazzard reference, Boss Hogg. Mine, put it down. When people start using it, remember where it came from. Boss Hogg. So when Democrats put Boss Hogg in charge... What is it? Levin says the backbenchers. The backbenchers are going to come steal my Boss Hogg reference. You know it. That's solid.
Yeah, no, it is. Just like Maryland Man, Chris. Come on.
That's all right. As long as you know where the good ideas flow, that's all that matters to me. You're here, and that's all that matters to me. So anyway, Boss Hogg was being celebrated. They brought him in. They thought, boy, if we kind of lovingly put our arm around Boss Hogg, maybe everybody will settle down. They won't be so mean to little Hakeem Jeffries and whatnot. No, they've only become more emboldened. Jasmine Crockett, Jimmy Kimmel, AOC, Bernie, the oligarchy. They've all become more emboldened now. Because again, vacuum of leadership. They've become so emboldened, as a matter of fact, they're out there now saying things like, we're going to tear down democracy as we know it. It doesn't work. And then little David Hogg, Boss Hogg, he goes out there and he pledges to upend Democrat primaries by funding personally. You see what I'm saying? They're hoovering up the money, and so they're personally pledging, I will spend the money that I'm collecting, because a bunch of emotional left-wing idiots are out there sending $5 and $10 to these morons every time they go on Jimmy Kimmel or they give some sort of speech with a bullhorn. There are people that will give them money, and they're collecting an impressive sum of it. And now Boss Hogg is out there thumping his chest saying, you know what? I'm getting a little tired of you Democrats in Congress that aren't doing my bidding or fighting hard enough or whatever. I can't. What more do you want from this Democrat Party? They're flying to El Salvador to spring an illegal alien for you. They're fighting as hard as they can to defend all of the non-governmental organizations and the bloated government spending. They're doing everything they can to force shots on you, whether you want them or not. I would submit to you the Democrat Party has never been more aggressive and overarching in their authoritarianism than they are right now. But for Boss Hogg and AOC and Jasmine Crockett, not nearly enough. And for good measure, we're going to throw in some swear words, because that really makes us sound tough. Sounds like we're really taking action now. Right. So Boss Hogg, 25 years old, says, hey, I tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to start funding candidates who challenge, quote, ineffective, asleep-at-the-wheel Democrats. David Hogg ignited a circular firing squad, Politico later wrote, just 2 days later, inside the DNC. Newly elected Boss Hogg, in March, never signed on to the DNC's pledge that they would not primary sitting Democrat candidates. He refused. So they brought in Boss Hogg, and they said, hey, boss, do you mind signing this pledge that we're not going to primary candidates? He said, He tricked them. It was a rope-a-dope. Boss Hogg got the Democrats to lovingly embrace him, bring him in, make him a hood ornament. Look, fringe lunatic left. We brought in Boss Hogg. See? Hey, Boss Hogg, do you mind signing this pledge that says we're all going to play nice together and we're not going to primary one another? And he, I'm a bit of a bird enthusiast. You know what starlings are? You know what starlings do, Fanistetti? Starlings. They're non-native to the United States. They come in from Europe. Nasty little birds. They go in and they take the eggs out of, like robins' nests or cardinals' nests. They kill the eggs. They take them, and they will lay eggs in the nest of the robin. Ooh. Or the cardinal, and let the robin and the cardinal hatch their babies. That's what starlings do. This is what David Hogg has done. He's a starling. He's the blackbird of the DNC. He invaded their space, and now he's laying an egg, and he's making them own it. And and they're terrified now, because they're like, what have we done? We brought him in, and now he didn't sign the pledge, and now he's collecting all this money, and he's pledging to attack our own. We can't have this, they say. Which brings me to the latest story. DNC gives David Hogg an ultimatum. This is not going to end well when you hear DNC an ultimatum. They're going to force David Hogg to decide, get out of your attempts to primary other Democrats or lose your post. Oh, ho, 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 my. So it's been a very short honeymoon for the DNC and Boss Hogg. Bring him in, show the wackos we're embracing the wackos, then the wackos rule the asylum, and they say, you got to get out of here. We can't have you here. We're going to give you an ultimatum. Do you know how that's going to embolden the wackos? If David Hogg becomes a martyr, if David Hogg, if Boss Hogg, if little David, the cherub of Parkland, gets kicked out of the DNC for fighting sitting Democrats, do you know how they're only going to make him bigger? He's going to become Stay Puft Marshmallow Man big. He's going to... David Hogg will soon become the face of the wacky lunatic left. Jasmine Crockett, AOC, stand aside. You ain't seen nothing yet. Boss Hogg is on the case. So Democrats are threatening to throw him out if he doesn't promise he won't primary. Democrats are getting nervous, is what I'm telling you. From the Hill, we talked a little about this yesterday with Aaron McGuire in studio. Democrats wonder if the Abrego Garcia case is a political fight worth having. Maybe it's a bad idea to go spring the gang member from an El Salvador prison. Gavin Newsom said, I don't even know what my party is anymore. Sure he doesn't. Well, he's trying to moderate and tax center. As we know, he's been using some conservatives on his podcast to do that. So people like Newsom are smart enough to know it's time to moderate. Democrats, even, inside the party, their party chair, are saying, we can't have you primarying fellow Democrats. This could end poorly. And do you know why they know that? Because who ends up winning primaries? The most passionate people win primaries. Bernie had this passion before. When they ran Granny Crooked Hacker, Hillary Clinton, twice, and she failed both times, Bernie came surging. And the Democrat Party rigged it for Hillary. Bernie would have won that going away had the DNC not rigged it for Hillary. Tulsi Gabbard, if you remember, left the party over that. Now they're trying to do it to Boss Hogg. Couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of people. Pop the popcorn.
The Chris Stigall Show podcast.